In this video, I'm going to share with you why, if business owners are superheroes, exit planning is their kryptonite. For the best advice on how to unlock a better life for yourself and the people around you, then please subscribe to my channel and be notified of a new video every week. Business owners that do overcome these hurdles to plan an exit are more likely to have more options available to achieve greater financial security and leave the legacy they desire. Business owners go through a lot, and in many ways they can be thought of as superheroes. But, like all superheroes, they all have flaws. They're kryptonite. In most cases, or many cases, that kryptonite for business owners is exit planning. Quite simply, the vast majority of business owners don't plan. They don't plan for their future, they don't plan for their business's future. And that has consequences. It has consequences for the business after they've left it, has consequences for their own life, and it has consequences for the people around them. And quite frankly, that's just daft. Even a moderately successful business is likely to represent an awful lot of wealth. And in most cases, that will be the vast majority of that business owner's wealth. So not planning on how you're going to deal with it, increase it, secure it, makes no sense at all. Even a moderately successful business is likely to represent a substantial proportion of the owner's wealth. So why, given all the stress, the sacrifices, the hard work that's gone into building a company, would a business owner not plan? Why would they choose not to plan for their own financial security, for the security of the company? And why would they not plan to secure the legacy that they want to leave after they exit their business? For a small number of business owners, it might be a fear of an end. The end of a stage of life that's been defined by their business. It's a stage when everything they've done has been to do with work. Their friends are people from work. Everything they do away from the house is work. They go on holiday, they're still looking at emails, and it's work. And quite frankly, exiting the business would leave a void, a huge void. And it's a void they don't want to look at. But there's no point in burying your head in the sand. You have to address that, come to terms with it, and plan accordingly. Instead, an exit needs to be seen as the start of the next adventure, the next stage. And if the planning is done correctly, and the execution is correct, it'll be a well-funded adventure, one in which the owner can spend time with the people they want to spend time with, doing the things that he or she wants to do, and doing them where they want to do it. So if it's not a fear of moving on that stops people planning an exit, what is it? Why don't they sit down and align their personal, their financial, and their business goals? Well, I hear three common reasons. Perhaps the most common reason I hear is, I can't afford it. Well, whether we're a business owner or an employee, we all get used to a certain level of income. No surprises there. As I say, we all do it. The key, of course, with exit planning is to identify what that level of income is, what it is that you actually need, and then plan accordingly. The earlier you start doing that, the sooner you can start ensuring that the business is worth what you need to finance and maintain that level of income that you need post-exit. The next most common reason for not exit planning that I come across is just a misplaced belief, a belief that a buyer will mysteriously appear at the time that somebody wants to exit. And that's just plain naive on a number of levels. Firstly, most businesses do not sell, and increasingly, the younger generation don't want to take on businesses. They have different values. But setting that aside, as I say, most businesses don't sell. There's millions out there, nearly 6 million SMEs in the UK. So identifying, or for a buyer to identify your business as one that they want to buy, are incredibly small odds, and you need to be doing everything you can do in advance to ensure that that does happen. Secondly, in the event that a buyer does, as if by magic, mysteriously appear, like Mr. Ben and his shopkeeper, that's a reference that will be lost on younger viewers. If there hasn't been any planning, any offer that is made is likely to be considerably less than might have been the case had there been some planning gone into it and an effort made to tidy up the business, prepare it for the exit, and prepare it for a new owner to take on. Third on the list is, I'm just too busy, I haven't got time. Well, the reality is that all those things that an owner might think are priorities, all the decisions they might make in addressing those will, to some degree or other, have an impact on how they exit. So it makes much more sense to deal with the exit planning up front, to set the framework in which those decisions should be made, to understand what the implications of each of those decisions might be. Just as importantly, the earlier that an owner starts the exit planning, the greater the potential for value creation, and the greater the potential options that are open to them, and the freedom that they have to exit at the time of their choosing, which may be short term, it may be long term, it may be unexpectedly. But for that reason alone, exit planning ought to be one of the priorities, if not the priority, in any business. There are lots of other reasons that owners cite for not doing their exit planning. I wouldn't know what to do if I retire. I don't want anybody to know that I'm thinking about leaving the business, and the list goes on. The reality, though, is that there is very little that you can do in a business that is always a win-win. Exit planning is one of those things. The earlier you start, the greater the value creation, the better organised the business, the better the lifestyle that you'll lead, because you end up building a company that can thrive without you. So if you haven't given any consideration to exit planning, then I'd urge you to think about it sooner rather than later. And if you'd like to find out more about how you can do that, the steps you should take, then please download the exit checklist from the comments box below. If you've enjoyed this video, then please do like, comment, share and subscribe, and I'll inform you of the next video when it's released next week.